Good morning, fellas. How are you doing today? I'm really zombie mode. I am really sleepy, but like every Monday. Yeah, it was a great weekend, but certainly I need more sleeping hours. Well, previous lessons we were in this case dealing with the first unit. We were in this case discussing about opinion essays, which is related to the first assessment, and I already uploaded a list of titles, list of books, like suggestions, right? Of course, you can add more titles of your preference. Actually, some of you guys have, in this case, text me about that. And I mean, if you are thinking about a specific book to read and then write your opinion essay about that title, no problem. Just let me know, via inbox. ¿Cómo se dice? Inbox. What else? I already recorded a capsule, which I'm going to upload today, regarding simple tenses. It's just a review about simple present, simple past, past continuous, present continuous, which is, I assume it is a piece of cake for you guys. What else? Also about lexical contents. Yeah, we're dealing with work and education, but today I'd like to specifically review things on writing. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And here. Okay. I think it's necessary to once in a while review stuff that you already know about paragraph structure, right? Like every paragraph has, in this case, especially regarding essays, academic writing, there are a lot of different parameters, right? Because in this case, formal writing, academic writing is, in this case, let's say, supervised, controlled by these parameters, these rules, these standards, okay? With creative writing is a very different story, right? It works with different rules and different structures, but there are a lot of rules about academic writing, right? An opinion essay is part of the academic writing, in this case, list. And a paragraph in this case is, let's say, section of an essay, of a piece of writing, formal piece of writing, which contains basically an idea. It's pretty much a piece of writing on its own, right? But the topic of the paragraph is, in this case, defined by the topic sentence, basically. But the paragraph needs to have certain unity, cohesion, certain, in this case, topic which should be really clear, or at least a set of topics which are interconnected, right, in the same paragraph, right? So what is the key regarding, in this case, a paragraph, which is basically the different stages or sections of the paragraph. Normally, the first 2 or 3 lines, they're the topic sentence, the main subject within those lines, and the controlling ideas. All right. I think we've seen this before, but it's good to review again. We got, in this case, like a title, which is of course very important when you are, in this case, writing about any topic, because you can have titles and subtitles. Well, regarding the structure of the opinion essay, normally you got one title, which should be like really, in this case, clear, and should be, in this case, like an umbrella concept. And then all the different topic sentences in the paragraphs should be related in some way with the title, the main title. As I told you, first 2 lines normally are the topic sentence. In this case, if you check out, we got a title about gold, so we know that we're gonna be talking about gold, which is pretty obvious. And then gold, and we define, in this case, that the main topic. I mean, the keyword. A precious metal is prized for 2 important characteristics. First of all, gold has a lustrous beauty that is resistant to corrosion. Okay. So gold, basically, what is gold? A precious metal. That's it. The first thing in the topic sentence. And then we got the controlling idea. Within the topic sentence, we got in this case, the key, in this case, noun, which is gold. We describe it a little bit with the adjective precious and the noun metal, but then we got the controlling idea. So if we say what gold is, then we need to provide a certain direction to the topic. And then we say is prized by 2 important characteristics. So the controlling idea here is telling you where the text, where the idea is going. All right. If you say is prized for 2 important characteristics, you know that next you need to talk about the important characteristics, like which ones, and then you start naming the characteristics. If you had said, for example, gold, a precious metal, has been used in this case to, I don't know, to buy armies and to buy lands and to buy people, the direction of the topic is going to another place, basically. And then you need to start expanding the idea regarding that controlling idea, right? So what else? When you start, expanding the idea, the main idea in the topic sentence, you need to use connectors, markers, right? Expressions, which can be, in this case, telling the reader, the audience, where a sentence is ending and where another sentence is starting. So after a period, normally you need to use a connector. First of all, for example, here, right here, therefore, right, period. After, of course, you can use, the topic, in this case, the key noun again, and actually it is necessary in this case for the sake of coherence, you need to repeat the key noun at least once or twice in the same paragraph. Like here, gold, gold, or synonyms. Gold again here, gold again, because you need in this case to maintain the coherence, like it's pretty much the glue. You're using glue to stick the ideas connected together, right? Because if you start like going through the branches, you never go back to the origin. Like remember that we're talking about gold, yeah? And you start going through the branches, you're gonna get lost, basically. It's pretty much like a circle, right? It's a circle. And I'm going to explain why. So, well, after using your markers, like for example, for another important characteristic, the most recent use, in conclusion. So when you present normally 2 or 3 ideas, examples, citations, all right, to support, to expand what is said in the topic sentence, you need to, in this case, end the paragraph going back to the beginning. In conclusion, gold is treasured not only for its beauty, but also for its utility. So to end, in this case, to close the idea, you need to like kind of restate the topic sentence. Not repeating, but maybe just trying to give maybe an extra characteristic, or maybe just restating what you said in the first 2 lines. It needs to happen. You can't just start writing a paragraph and then just expand the idea, and then you go through the branches and you get lost, and then you never go back. And if you can see, there is also a certain size for the paragraph, right? In this case, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines. It's I remember that once I told you about the concept of symmetry. It is important, the symmetry, not only regarding the what your eyes see, right? For example, it's especially in academic writing, having a paragraph which is 5 lines, long, and then the next paragraph is 20 lines long, is crazy. It's like whereas in this case the proportions regarding the how you distribute the ideas within the an academic essay, right? So if you choose to have 10-line paragraphs, like you need to keep that symmetry. Every paragraph should have around 10 lines, 9 lines, 10, 11, right? It's important not to break that symmetry. I know that maybe there are many rules about this, and it's not only about aesthetics. It's about how you distribute the ideas, how you use the hierarchy of ideas. Okay, how you distribute your the spaces, which is important too, as part of the mechanics. Spacing is key, like the same as, for example, punctuation. So normally you have to give a 1.5 separation from one line to another. The size is normally 11, 12 maximum. So when you separate one paragraph from another, you should use double spacing, etc., etc. Be careful with, in this case, using commas, colon, semicolon, period, ellipses, etc., etc. If we need to revise in this case, the use of punctuation, just let me know, like spacing and all those details, and which are part of your, in this case, let's say, your studies regarding academic writing. This is going to be really important, for example, when you start writing like reports in the future, like in, I don't know, 4th year, like regarding investigation. This is key, especially when you start writing your thesis paper. You're gonna remember this. I mean, you should, because well, it depends on the professor, but normally we become really, in this case, in my personal case, I really check pretty much everything on thesis papers, and we become pit bulls about that. It's like, remember that in this case, spacing, blah blah blah, and the mechanics, period spacing, and it's terrible. I mean, it's not nice. I mean, but it's part of the the training as teacher, researchers, and professionals in this case of education. Right now, it's okay, not so tough, but it's gonna be tough in 4th and 5th year. So it's good for you guys to start learning the basics right now. What else can I say? Going back to opinion essays, every, in this case, example or opinion in this case should be supported by some sort of source, citations, quotations. You can use, of course, facts, but that fact needs some sort of support, just like every opinion. It's not acceptable in an academic, in this case, writing, that I mean, it's okay, it's valid to express an opinion, especially if we're talking about an opinion essay. But what is not acceptable is not supporting that idea. You took it from somewhere, and you need somebody who can back up that idea. Maybe another author, maybe you read it in a book, you saw it on a movie. That, like, APA, in this case 7th edition, in this case, supports the use of Twitter, Instagram, any piece of art or source that you'd like to use, provided it is, under certain standards, can be cited, can be quoted. That's why it is important, the use of APA. So we're going to be talking about APA soon. So what is the topic of the paragraph in this case? Well, which is really important. Questions that you need to ask before start writing. What is the topic of the paragraph? What 2 main points does the writer make about the topic, in this case? I think this is related to the previous paragraph anyway. But I think that it's important also to use this for different paragraphs too. It's like, what are the main points that you can use, like support in the topic sentence? What else? Examples as writer used to support each point. I think regarding the previous one, the examples, like after you give, in this case, a definition, controlling idea is telling you, okay, we're going to be dealing with 2 important characteristics. First characteristic is the lustrous beauty. Why is this important? Because it is important for jewelry, coins, blah blah blah. For example, and this is another characteristic, never needs to be polished. which is, of course, related to beauty, but it's not exactly the same. And then the examples: Macedonian coins remain untarnished. This is very specific, made 25 centuries ago. There's no specific citation about this, but it's a very clear example. But I think we need here an author, just after the example. Then gold is useful for industry and science. That's a different idea within the same paragraph. In this case, more examples about that. Used in hundreds of industrial applications, photography, and dentistry. So going more specifically about the uses of gold in this case. Most recent gold is about astronaut suits, which is another example of the use of in the industry and science. Always going more specific: gold-plated heat shields for protection, blah blah. And then conclusion: gold is treasured not only for its beauty but also for its utilities. And then you go back to the two important characteristics, right? Beauty and utility. So when you write a paragraph, normally you follow that scheme, topic, sentence, then examples, and then citations or opinions which are supported by certain, like a couple of citations, at least one in a paragraph, and then concluding sentence, right? And then the reader says, okay, this is the end of the paragraph. Then we're going to read another paragraph about different topic related to the umbrella topic, but it's more specific, but it's a different idea. What else? Topic sentences. Main idea. We already mentioned this. They limit topic to the specific area. The controlling sentence actually does that. Limit the topic to a specific area. Okay, this is the example of gold. Topic: gold, controlling idea to important characteristics. Yep. It happens with every key noun. If you're dealing with, I don't know, any topic which is important, like for example, ecocide. Ecocide. What happens with the ecosystems around the world because of extractivism, or when countries, they want to build I don't know, nuclear plants, or when they want to control hydroelectric plants and stuff like that. Sometimes they destroy ecosystems, right, to do that. That's ecocides. And then in that case, if you're gonna write about ecocide, you need to limit in this case, because it's very interesting topic, and there are a lot of different branches about ecocide and ecosystems. So in this case, controlling ideas, what they do is they specify the limits, the boundaries of the topic. What else? Supporting ideas, supporting sentences. They develop the topic sentence. Yep, that's true. Examples about the previous paragraph in this case, but talking about ecocide, first of all, let's say the concept of ecocide was born in the 60s, and regarding the activism activism in favor of let's say taking care of the planet, blah 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 blah. And that's one thing. And then, for example, you can name a couple of let's say NGOs, like, I don't know, Greenpeace, or any other related organization. You can talk about a little bit of Greenpeace, and then a second NGO, and then you limit the paragraph about regarding the concept of ecocide and or the creators of the concept, or you can, talk about in another paragraph or in the same paragraph about, the NGOs, non-governmental organizations, but briefly, because talking about NGOs and talking about the concept of ecocide can be like really, really long. So maybe you should separate, the two ideas in two paragraphs. What else? Examples. And remember where you get the information, the source, like blogs, articles, newspapers, YouTube, etc., etc., etc. Right? What else? Concluding sentences. Yep, this is pretty much easy. In conclusion and summary, as a summary, concluding the ideas, concluding this paragraph, blah 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 blah. Okay, that's pretty much about paragraphs. Now let's talk about APA. Okay. Especially when we talk about supporting opinions in this case, when you use examples, it's important to maybe you remember certain cases, situations, but they come from certain sources, previous sources, like the news, books, social media. You read that thing, or you watched some video, documentary, etc. So that's why it is important. Like it's valid to have memories about something important, like examples which are important, but regarding, in this case, formal writing, you need to provide an author, like the opinion of an expert, and stuff like that. At least one in every paragraph. What else? So regarding quotations, here we go. This is just like a reminder. Citación. Yeah. Maybe I should have chosen normas ABA in English, but whatever. Cuando uno cita, por ejemplo, en el texto, normally we use ampersand in this case when there are two authors. When there's one author, it's just okay, like only the author, comma, the year, and you open and close, brackets. But when you use two authors, we need to use ampersand in this case. In Spanish, we use E. What else? There are two aspects in this case which are important in this case to present an idea. We can, in this case, cite directly or indirectly. The direct quotation is normally it's literal. When you in the indirect quote is paraphrasing. And we need to define if it is narrative or parenthetic. Okay. And in this case, las citas directas, direct quotations can be short. That's up to 40 words, or in block, which is more than 40 words. Okay. In this case, the short citation, parenthetic. What we do here is, if you see here, we put the citation at the end of in this case, of the literal quotation, right after the end of quotation mark. So at the end of the idea. Sometimes it's not at the end of the paragraph, it's at the end of the quotation, basically. So in this case, we use colon. You open quotation marks, you put it right here until here, close quotation mark, and then at the end, the author. This is called parenthetic, right? Which is different from narrative, and you're going to see why. Here, you can see para Sabater, according to Sabater, right? So you can see that the author in the parenthetic was here within the brackets, but in this case, the narrative, you start the citation with the author. So that's really a big difference. Okay. And blah blah blah. And this is pretty much like your own ideas, paraphrasing or stuff like that. And then the literal citation starts right here after the colon. You use exactly the same way. You know, it's exactly the same literal citation in comparison to the previous example. And then you put the year. You only use the page when it is a physical book. When it's not a physical book, you don't need to mention the page. Okay, 2005, close brackets in this case, and that's it. You don't need to repeat the author because you mentioned the author here, right? So you only have to put the year at the end of a citation. Okay, this is regarding the literal, direct citations. Paraphrasing is different, but we're gonna deal with that later. In this case, block quotation, in this case, is pretty much citations which are longer, more than 40 words. So we got the same technique, parenthetic and narrative. So this is pretty much your own writing, blah, blah, blah. And then after your own writing, colon, and then we got the literal citation. Again, this is from a physical book because it has the page. If it is from a digital article, you don't need to put the page. Absolutely, it's not necessary. Only the author and the year. So blah, 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 blah. This is all literal. And you put the author, in this case, at the end of the citation. No need, if you see here, no need of quotation marks, no need of changing the size of the letter, because that's part of previous version of APA. Today, APA 7th edition, you don't need to add more things. It's like just, in this case, the la sangría, que se dice, right? Then about the narrative in this case, it is putting the author here in your own text. Talking about Tobar, cierto lo que dijo, colon, literal quotation again until here, and you put only the year. Okay, only the year at the end. Again, qué estupidez. Y ahí está. Solamente se pone el año al final. Ok, se cierra aquí 1986. Close brackets in this case. Esto con respecto a la cita narrativa. Cita narrativa, digamos, directa. Ok. Cuando hablamos de citas indirectas, hablamos de paraphrasing. Se cumplen más o menos las mismas reglas, sino parenthetic narrative. En parenthetic ponemos al final el autor, la autora, y en la narrativa ponemos el o la autora acá, o les autores por acá, ¿cierto? no se ponen al final de la cita, digamos, parafraseada, ¿ya? Sino que son parte del texto, son una parte integral del texto, ¿ya? Bueno, arriba también, lo que pasa es que se pone al final, entonces como que destaca más, ¿ya? Depende cómo ustedes lo quieran hacer, ¿ya? Y en este caso, aquí no hay mucho que decir porque básicamente en los parafraseos te ahorran el tema de la cita, digamos, de más de 40 palabras, porque básicamente esto es un merge. Si tú juntas, fusionas tus ideas con las del autor, ¿ya? Pues esta es mi favorita en todo caso. Eh, yo también uso obviamente la cita directa, literal, pero mi favorita es esta, ¿ya? What else? Bueno, next, ya estamos en la hora, así que next class we can continue talking about citations, más APA, digamos que hay mucho que hablar sobre esto, ¿ya? Cómo se construye una lista bibliográfica y todo el tema, ¿ya? That's all for today. Bueno, quizás fue un poquito lateral la clase, pero son cosas que tenemos que hablar, ¿ya? Entonces voy a estar, en este caso, voy a subir la cápsula que grabé del viernes sobre el review de Simple Tenses. Esta clase está grabada, así que la voy a subir al tiro para que quede en el Campus. El viernes también voy a grabar otra capsulilla. Lo más probable es que sea de APA. Y para el próximo lunes deberíamos estar viendo Metalinguistic Contents. ¿Ya?
Próximo lunes de receso.
Tienes razón, Julián. Tienes toda la razón. Ya, pues disfruten, enjoy el receso, que creo que va a ser larguito, así que son como unas vacaciones, unas holidays, así que enjoy, disfruten, coman harta empanada, ¿cierto? Eleven volantines. Bueno, hagamos todo lo que se hace en septiembre, lo que sea que hagan. Enjoy and have a great day. See you.
Sí,
Cuídese, profe,
Luisa,
también
take
disfrute.
care.
Bye.
Que le vaya bien.